Star Fox Zero, Star Fox Assault, Star Fox Command, Star Fox, Star Fox, Star Fox. Show me the Star Fox. How would Star Fox work as a movie? How would Fox McCloud present himself on the big screen? How would all that work? I think, and you believe, we both are in a congruent, mutual conclusion that The Battle Begins, the animated short, is a prime example of how a Star Fox movie could work.
Yeah.
I think they could afford to go beyond the anime style. I think they could do a 3D animation.
I thought some of the mouth animations were a little awkward, some of that and stuff. Yeah.
And so I think they could do a 3D animation. I think they could have like that whole sort of, as we talked previously, like with Donkey Kong, like, you have the fur. I definitely don't think they should do a puppet animation that they seem really fond of with Star Fox.
That would be interesting, though.
Like a Muppet sort of movie with Star Fox.
Modern Muppets.
I think that would be a terrible...
They still do make Muppets movies.
I think that would be a terrible decision.
Yeah.
Because Star Fox is all about those epic space battles.
For a whole entire movie, yes, certainly I think that would
the Muppets would be a terrible choice.
Yeah.
And I would not put it past Nintendo to make something like that. Dang, your dog's just chewing.
He's going to town on that.
Yeah, he's going to town on that chew toy. But I don't think the mic will pick it up as loudly as we hear it.
Yeah.
But I am somewhat worried and concerned about that. We're gonna go on with it because we're Koppai and we do care actually. We do strive for the utmost quality, but that's just the nature of it. Simba, you're a cutie. But yeah, I think you have. The only thing I worry about with a Star Fox movie is that you'd have the similar sort of thing with The Battle Begins, with Star Fox 64, Star Fox 64 3D, and Star Fox Zero. Is that what's the story you tell? Because we cannot have
another reboot.
We cannot have your father was killed by Andross, and you need to go save the world by stopping Andross. Here's Wolf. Here's these monkeys, here's Piggy, here's Pepe O'Hare. Like, you need to have a completely independent story where it's like, this is, and you can have Andross. Like, I'm not saying don't have Andross. I'm saying you need to have something beyond what we've seen.
Yeah.
No more of the, like, it can't be that same dialogue. It can't be the whole, I mean, you would have do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
You would have, there's a bogey on my tail. You would have, and maybe in the trailer or at the start of the movie or in some sort of cheesy Easter egg, you'd have good luck. But I just don't think you could have that whole movie again.
Yeah.
But I can just imagine a movie where they have Star Fox and Pepe gets lost on a desert planet and Slippy has a bogey on his tail, and then Wolf comes along.
They really have a lot of potential and possibility they could do with the Star Fox series. That my only concern with that possibility is the fact that Star Fox Zero did so poorly, and how a lot of people are speculating that the entire franchise is over, which we have talked. Yeah, which we talked about. We don't think that necessarily. It's a Miyamoto franchise. It's not dead, I wouldn't say. But is it going to get a major motion picture? Are they going to put that faith into also making an adaptation instead of maybe...
I don't think it's definitely going to be the first one off the bat.
And do they need to put their focus into, like, for the next Star Fox, would fans rather see them put all of their dedication and focus into making the game great and not into putting focus into making some animated long story that could take away potentially from making the game where it should be and how the franchise needs to go if it's going to continue moving forward.
On the contrary, because if you want Star Fox 64, you have that.
Yeah.
You can play that. If you are more of a Command or an Assault or a Zero guy, you have those games. Maybe Nintendo will be like, you know what? There's no way we can do something that people will think is better than what they already have. There are those controls. There's the arcade. There's the high scores to beat. You have the Star Fox. If you want to go play those Star Fox games, you have them. Maybe a movie would be a way for them to expand the franchise, make money off the franchise and the brand that it is.
Restore some of that image.
Yeah, restore some of that image and not have the expectations of controls, of gameplay, etc., to hold up to, because you have Fox, Falco, Slippy, Peppy, like they're all like Fox is the perfect moderate like balance between them all. You have Falco, who's kind of like his counter. You have Slippy, who's a buffoon, and then you have the old wise Peppy O'Hare. You have a very well-rounded cast, and you can make them like a really fun, dynamic group of kind of 4 people, doing epic space adventures. The only thing with that is you're competing with Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Star Wars won't be stopping until, it would be competing with this if it was like the first game or the first movie to launch.
Yeah, maybe. Star Wars, I think, is a totally different beast to kind of compete with. I think that
I don't know. You have Rebels, you have Clone Wars, you have these animated things and it's space adventures.
That's true. It's a good point.
It's just, are you going to take your kid to see Star Wars or Star Fox?
I just think that Star Fox is so, in a lot of ways, silly, a lot of ways lighthearted, a lot of ways like they do the Muppet thing. It's in a lot of ways, I think, a parody of all of the 80s and the Star Wars hype of the 80s and all the sci-fi, the tropes, the Star Treks, and all those things. That's what Star Fox is, and it's kind of making fun of it and putting it in like these animals that are like human-like animals. And I think it's just silly and fun, and they can do a lot of things with that. We see it even in the Battle Begins anime. There's so many silly, quirky little moments, and so I think that it would always be like, this is kind of the silly parody of Star Wars. It's not really necessarily directly competing, and it's also a Nintendo thing, and so it also have that energy of it's Nintendo. It's kind of a parody.
If they could do
it's Nintendo's
like, because what
version.
we talked about, like when we did our Mario discussion, is we kind of said, Mario and the Wii, like it. I would think that the best way for Nintendo to handle any of these movies is to kind of have that fourth wall break.
Yeah.
Kind of call out their own tropes and stuff and their own sort of fan service thing.
Uh-huh.
And Star Fox, more than anyone, could do that, where they do, like the whole do a barrel roll and stuff. But they could also build up the whole trope of space adventures, of Star Trek, of Star Wars, of Battlestar Galactica, of kind of even like maybe Doctor Who, kind of that sci-fi sort of thing, planet exploration. Like they could really build up some funny jokes around all of that. I would like to see maybe with Star Fox them head in the movie direction and maybe abandon games or put video games on the back burner while movies are the forefront of the Star Fox, because that's really what depressed me about the whole negative reception of Star Fox Zero, was the fact that there was kind of we won't see this again, we're not going to really know what happens next with these characters, and that was the big bummer part. I loved the gameplay, but I could, if I want to play more Star Fox, I can play Star Fox Zero and try to get the higher scores. I'll be content with that for a while. I'd like to maybe see it as more of the story, and I'd be content with the movie and just find out what happens next.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
Before we move on to the next game, let's pause this real quick one more time and check to see how this sounds.
Okay.
With your dog destroying that bone in the background.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll be right back.